We are slowly creeping up to the middle of 2021, and I hope everyone is still going strong. Thank you for joining us today. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the importance of being self determined. We are our choices, and I'm so glad for all of our viewers watching. I hope you grab some insightful knowledge about today because I'm really overjoyed to introduce a real innovator and absolutely driven person. His persistence and commitment to himself can show you how to be self motivated. Plus, remember, you own your outcomes. But real quick, my name is Alvin Adriano, your host today on Celebrating Filipino Entrepreneurs. And this platform was created to highlight some of the most innovative, fearless, and dynamic entrepreneurs who have created a path of success for themselves, but also creating a conduit for others to follow. Through their narratives and dedication to achieve, they have been an inspiration to so many others. Now, if you are watching this live, please hashtag live. And if you're watching this on the replay, please hashtag replay. Please share in the comments where you are watching from so we can make sure we represent your hometowns. Now, I want to acknowledge Mr. Jeremy Canles from Auntie Boba. He's a young Philam who is driven by his passion and found opportunities along the way. He capitalized and created a chain of Auntie Boba locations throughout the DMV area and continues to shoot for the star. So summer is almost here. So drop by one of his 3 locations in Fort Washington, Lanham, or Washington, D.C. His drinks will definitely quench those thirsts. So snaps for Jeremy and his team at Auntie Boba. But today's guest is a local favorite in his hometown of Virginia Beach. He's an extremely smart, innovative, and dedicated entrepreneur who has his goals and family at mind. He's a self-motivated starter who created his own opportunities and is here to share some insights on his story. So instead of rambling on, let me tell you more about Mr. Alvin Lapitan. Alvin Lapitan is the CEO of Iron Asylum, which opens its door in January 2015 in Virginia Beach, Virginia. In 2019, he opened his second location in Kempsville, Virginia, and they've continued to create a wide range of followers. Alvin did not follow the conventional path, and after his graduation in 1997, he attended Tidewater Community College for 2 years before he pursued his career in retail banking. By 1999, he started as a teller and moved his way up the ranks, all the way up to financial center manager. And in 2005, he became super interested in mortgage lending and has never turned back. Now, today, he is a successful mortgage broker with his company Lapitan Loans. Currently, he manages a couple of long-term rentals and occasionally performs a house flip. He and his family recently acquired their second home, which they also use as a short-term rental in Winter Green, Virginia. Alvin has been one of his pride achievements is being married to his wife Amy for 16 years. He has 3 children, 9-year-old twins, boy and girl, and a son who recently graduated from Virginia Tech. Born into a military family, Alvin's dad was in the U.S. Navy, and they found their home in Virginia Beach. He's a true competitor in business and in sports, and one of the most straight-up guys that you'll ever meet. Please smash those heart buttons and give Mr. Alvin Lapitan a well-deserved thank you for being here today. So let me bring him on. Perfect. Alvin, can you hear me?
I can. Hey, Alvin.
How are you doing? This is going to be a little bit different because both of our names are Alvin, so I'm going to forget who goes first when we talk. But
it is. I was going to say we share that awesome name. But it is weird when you call somebody else your own name. I don't know.
Yeah. So where are you at right now? Are you in Virginia Beach or are you out?
I am in Virginia Beach at the home office. I've got like offices all over. This is probably where I work the least out of, but right now with kids in school and stuff, it's the most quiet. So
awesome. Yeah, I mean, we all had to pivot, especially with children dealing with the virtual school, virtual workplace. I know I mentioned with before about Iron Asylum and the mortgage business, but during the pandemic, did you have to make a lot of changes, or were there a lot of obstacles for either of the industries that you're in?
In the gym business, obviously, yeah, because we had forced closures, and then we had to continuously adapt, just like everybody else in every other line of business, where we were actually closed almost 3 months outdoors. And then there was a period where they allowed outdoor workouts. And, I'm not putting any blame on anybody, but just like any other business, poor person, you really have to pivot, overcome, adapt, and that's pretty much what we did. But it was just very tough, obviously, knowing that we're at the mercy of governor's orders, local ordinances, and so much confusion going on.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew what was really happening? So.
No. I mean, yeah, I think in 2020 we really realized our abilities to evolve and adapt and change, because a lot of people were never put in a position of uncertainty. And as us as entrepreneurs, we live in this world of uncertainty because you never know what's going to happen. You can only just prepare and just be able to pivot whenever things happen. So thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I talked about your bio, about the things that you've been working on, but in your own words, how would you describe yourself? I mean, what you do and how do you come into life every day?
Well, I mean, describing myself, I mean, I actually notated a couple things that made me giggle when you were doing the bio. So I appreciate it. It said locals, favorite, and smart. I don't know about the favorite part, but yeah, many people appreciate it. But the smart part, smarts is always subjective, right? I just know that my work ethic, that's what I really take great pride in. I never say I'm the smartest around, or if I am the smartest amongst my friends, and then I need new friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, how I describe myself, I'm just a good guy trying to do great things. And that's pretty much it. I like to work. I love my family. I like business. I like, I love Virginia Beach and the community.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that people don't realize is work ethic. I know we come from I don't know where our age group would be between millennials and baby boomers or Gen Y or Gen X, or how people do our demographics. But working hard is a characteristic in all entrepreneurs that they have to embrace. It's not just, it's just it's a mindset of putting yourself in the work above everything else as you continue, but still making sure that you have all your priorities set and your goals at the end. But yeah, I mean, you didn't take the conventional course when it came to uh, I guess going to school and following that. What made you realize that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Man, I've always just kind of been like that little hustler, you know what I mean? Even I was kind of a knucklehead, obviously, friends that have known me for longer than 20 years or so in high school and all. But I was always that guy. I just always knew. I think I've got like some undiagnosed ADD and stuff. I don't know if my parents technically believed in it or whatever, but I was that guy that just never could pay attention in school, always kind of goofing off. But I'd always hustle. I was that guy in elementary, I convinced my parents to go to Sam's Club, let me go buy a box of blow pops for, whatever they were back then, 10 cents, and I was flipping them for a quarter. Back in my early, I don't even want to say teenage, but 12 to 14-year-old group before I can actually work. Me and my brother, I was printing lawnscape business cards, going door to door, cutting grass, just miscellaneous stuff like that. I always just knew that I was going to do something for myself. Mm-hmm. Did great in high school, graduated with honors. College was never on the radar, but still went to TCC for a couple of years. And then after my second year, I had my first son, and then also kind of realized school wasn't for me. It didn't thrill me. And I just had a hard time focusing in class. So, yeah.
No, I totally agree. I mean, we all think that education is the big ticket, golden ticket to success, and it's not, because you can learn a lot of things in college and school, getting you prepared. But the way that you come at life, the way you attack your life, how you hit your goals, where you make goals for yourself, that's what's going to determine if you're going to be successful. Whether you become an entrepreneur or if you're part of the workforce, regardless of that situation, people must know that it starts with your interactions and the way that you decide how you're going to spend your time. I like what you were saying about realizing that school wasn't for you, and I like to say that too, because there's all different variations of how people interpret success. And for you, it wasn't in the school's mindset. And what you were doing is you decided to develop yourself in retail banking. So what was that transition when you went into the workforce and deciding to going to a bank? Was that like a informed decision? You're like, hey, I want to get into banking, or was it something that fell into your lap?
It was something that actually a friend of mine kind of helped me pursue. So if Irene, you watch this, Irene's a good friend. She's in California now and stuff like that. And I've known her forever. So I guess back, shoot, 42 this year. So she's been friends, 25 or so years.
Mm-hmm.
But let me kind of rewind real quick though. I do want to make the point that school wasn't for me, but it is for a lot of other people. Like I was saying, I've got the older one who just graduated from Tech. He's a school guy. He's got a great job lined up in DC and everything. Tons of people are born to be 9-to-5ers, but also, school is for a lot of people. It's not for a lot. Trade school should be for a lot.
Yep.
Right into the workforce should be for some, and entrepreneurship should be for others. How did I get into retail banking? Like I said, found out that I was having my first one at 19 years old, which, was actually a blessing in disguise because it kind of forced me to grow up and really change my mindset. I had a friend that was working inside of a bank for Senate Bank. You guys remember that? This was actually inside of a Super Kmart back in the day on Holland Road. And that job, I was at 19. She was like, come work for me. Baby, you gotta or come work with us. And I was like, cool. Yeah, you're right. I do need to figure something out professionally, start making some money, providing and that kind of stuff. And that's how it all started, working as a teller.
Awesome. And did you find opportunities in the retail portion because you ended up into mortgage? And how did that evolution start for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always had great relationships with like managers and teachers and things like that. I just never really fully applied myself. So yeah, I worked up the corporate chain there a little bit. Did the teller supervisor, and then a desk position, and then became a manager and was managing a BB&T bank, the one on Lynnhaven Mall or in front of Lynnhaven Mall. And this was 2004, 2005 timeframe. And a client of mine owned a mortgage broker company. I was down the street. We would get to talking, and I expressed some interest then. And he was basically like, he'd see me in the suit and tie.
Yeah.
Every day, and he'd like, you come work for me. You're gonna get to wear shorts and flip flops when you want. You're gonna work less, and you're gonna make more. And this was a 24-year-old kid making okay, decent money, managing a branch or a bank. So it was kind of hard to believe. I felt like I was already kind of doing very well, following that traditional chain of corporate work and stuff. And then eventually, I can't remember if there was an exact pivot point, but there was some point where I was like, man, I'm getting tired of these meetings. I am getting tired of this structure. It's getting a little redundant, boring. And I called him up. Well, no, you know what? There was a short stint. I had another buddy that converted me to another bank, and I worked there for a couple months. And that's when I kind of realized banking just isn't making me excited anymore. It did great. I learned a lot of stuff about finances, credit. So very happy that I did. Eventually called him up and ended up working for his company for about 9 years or so. And he was absolutely right. I was making more money, more relaxed, and it was something that I enjoyed because everybody's story was a little different, and I was a little more passionate, and it was great because I was part of the process to help people attain home ownership and part of that American dream for so many.
Oh, that's great. You found opportunities wherever you could, and you just started realizing and weighing out the options and understanding the differences with financial literacy, because a lot of people don't, and a lot of young people don't understand the importance of investing, how to stay not into debt, because that's really the American scheme, to be part of debt. But one of the things that you said was a passion to help people have their first home. I think that's an important thing to do because people don't know the long-term effects of owning your home and how that benefits your portfolio of assets later on. Because it is what people strive for, to have their own home. So in your evolution from teller to supervisor to financial center manager, when did Iron Asylum start making a way into your head, or was that just another opportunity that came up as well?
It was another opportunity. One of my, the gym, fitness, and health has just always been and sports has always been a big part of my life, right? Growing up, fortunately, my parents were strong advocates for us to do things: taekwondo, bowling, football, tennis, basketball. Pretty much played a ton of sports always growing up. but times were also different then. That's when you would go out and then not come home until, the street lights came on or sundown.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, growing up and then throughout high school, I always enjoyed lifting weights in the gym and stuff. And like so many other gym rats, fitness junkies and such, always thought, man, it'd be so cool to have my own gym. And fortunately, I do say that the mortgage world and banking world kind of helped pave that way. So a buddy and myself who is very much like-minded like myself, he's an entrepreneur, does very well, gym guy, talked about opening a gym about a year and a half before I opened Iron Asylum, purchased equipment, thought we had a lease going. And we were pretty close in deep negotiations with the lease conversation with that landlord. And then we were going to open it up in the Hilltop area off Alaskan Road in Virginia Beach. And then we literally found out that a One Life, big shout out to One Life, I've got some friends over there, was opening their new location. It was going to be like a mile and a half away. And that kind of scared us. And we said, you know what, let's pull the plug on this thing. So we kind of did. We were doing our own things. And then another opportunity came about. It was a 4,000 square foot building, that a warehouse building, which is always the field that I've always wanted. I didn't want to follow that traditional mold of a commercial fitness center or health club, right? And I hit him up. I was like, yo, Paul, big shout out to Paul. You want to get in on this? And he was just so tied up in his own business. He kind of pulled back from me. I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pursue this on my own. And I kind of did. I'm kind of glad because now I don't have any partners other than the wife, and I'm not having to split any proceeds with Paul. So, things like that happen for a reason. I'm a strong believer in that.
Yep.
Like I said, the first dream died, we got scared, took another whole year before we did it, found a location, and this location proved to be perfect, I think, for our growth and expansion, the timing of everything. So, yeah, it was a blessing.
No, that's awesome. I really want to quickly acknowledge Marianne, Alvin Gina, Khalil Kanunan, and Ruby Renee Bowles for watching right now and hashtagging live. Appreciate all the viewers who are coming out and spending a little time with me and Alvin. I do want to rewind a little bit because you did mention that, you tried the banking thing, you tried school, you knew it wasn't for you. And I think that's an important thing when people are entrepreneurs, that you have to just try things, whether you believe it's going to be for your benefit or not. Sometimes you just have to see differently in different perspectives to understand the full scope. A lot of times, like when you mentioned before, you knew that school wasn't for you, but school is for a lot of other people. You still have to do certain things to try. And I think a lot of your story builds on what you were doing and taking full advantage of, because like you said, like the retail banking kind of led you to understand leases, understand financing. And then what came first, the mortgage company or the Iron Asylum gym?
So the mortgage business did. So I started in mortgages in 2005. So I've been doing that for about 16 years. I do work for a different broker now, CMS Mortgage. Shout out to them because I've got a phenomenal team there that I rely very heavily on. And they're phenomenal. I've been with them now for the past 6 years after leaving the prior broker. So we did the gym, or opened the gym in 2015. So, but fortunately, because business was pretty lucrative and great, that allowed me to be able to fund, open, and pursue the gym.
Wow. No, it's an amazing story. That's how you really find out that opportunities all around you. It's just which door are you going to open, and which one are you going to take advantage of and put all of your, I guess, leap of faith into. So, you mentioned that you have a son that just graduated from Virginia Tech. So as a father, I don't have any children that's graduated from college, so I can't wait to feel this feeling that you have right now. But what do you advise someone, like your son, do you advise him to, follow your dreams and, whatever his dreams are, or do you kind of give him suggestions to be his own boss? Like you see the benefits and flexibility.
You give them, for me, I'm not going to say I'm a perfect parent, obviously, but no, you give him suggestions. I mean, before he went to school, I said, he actually had a full ride at ODU. I was like, dude, stay local. You could go to school and help us run the gym. And he was like, nah. Decided to go to tech. And fortunately, he did get in the Corps of Cadets program the first year because he was pretty gung-ho on joining the military.
Okay.
He's like, just like so many other men, be a Navy SEAL or EOD's tech and this kind of stuff. And after the first year, he realized that wasn't for him either. I wasn't upset at him. First, I was like, oh, come on, dude. That's a whole year in the cadets. But then I kind of looked back at myself and kind of said, no, you're right. You can't force anybody into what you think they should do, right? Or what they, yeah. So, I let him do that. He joined the frat the next year. I was like, oh man, here we go. Right. So he joins the frat, but fortunately it was a great one. He's got a great group of guys. For second and third year, I do falter myself. I wasn't the most active parent with him then. And that's only because different business endeavors and stuff. And he realized that. And then this last year, my wife and I went, he did fortunately get to walk across the stage. And that was just like 2 weeks ago. And then, some emotions did hit me. It kind of like, man, my dude is like, and, he's like my number one and the first. But no, he's doing great. He's got a job already lined up, one of the biggest construction firms, building and construction firms in the nation, has been headhunting him, offering him a job. He starts end of July or August in the DC office for him. So we're excited. But he's also a hard worker too, in the sense that, he didn't take his summers off. He worked every summer, did internships with all of these companies, and right out the gates, he's got a great salaried position. So.
No, it's amazing. And, like what you said before, having a mindset, having a worth ethic, those are things that are important for not just any person, entrepreneurs, workforce. It's important because those are the things that build your foundation of how you're going to, give back into the world. A lot of people think that, overnight successes are like instant, and they're not. A lot of people don't understand there's a lot of work involved to getting to that point where that opportunity gets you to the next level. So yeah, kudos to you as being a great father. Being able to get your son from 0 to 18 to 21 to get through college, especially as a prestigious school as tech, that should be kudos for you and your family. So yeah, snaps for you.
Yeah, very excited. Appreciate it.
All right. So, when we talk about like your businesses, mortgage, and the gyms, we talked briefly about some of the obstacles that you had to pivot through the pandemic. But were there anything or lessons that you learned that allowed you to innovate more or allow you to find different creative strategies to be more effective and efficient now?
What I'll say about the pandemic and to the fitness industry and my gym in particular, I know it obviously affected tons of businesses, but the fitness industry as well, mainly because, they shut them down. You know what I mean? It wasn't some of these businesses. And then they try to change this and that. For us, it was more of it was another blessing in disguise, right? So we shut down. We were very concerned. One thing I did learn is that our members and people in general are awesome, right? It's unfortunate because in the news, we mostly hear negative stuff about people, shootings, murders, that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, good news doesn't sell as good. But we looked at it. What we did as a gym is we offered our members, hey, you could keep your membership, continue paying to fully support Iron Asylum. You can do a freeze option at no charge, or you can do a freeze option at $9 a month if you wanted to contribute something to help us, sustain business. And it was kind of, it was very humbling because about 60% of our membership base kept it as is. And we would get all these inspirational stories like, dude, you don't know what this gym means to me, blah, blah, blah. Y'all need to stay open. Keep taking my money. And man, every message we would read about that, we're like, look at this. Like me and my wife would sit and we're like, can you believe this? This is insane. Like people are wanting to continue supporting. And that's how you kind of know that, you've got something special, something a little different, more than a business, more than, people being numbers and dollars, but like the gym families, the groups, the camaraderie that is shared inside of the gym, it's pretty awesome. So, what did it teach us? Taught me that people were awesome. But the pandemic, fortunately, when we were able to reopen our doors June of last year, it was like the floodgates. I don't know what happened. It was actually a better response than our typical New Year's, where we get the New Year's resolutioners and stuff. Mm-hmm. And we think it was obviously a lot of people were pent up and was like, I got to get outside. I've been at home all forever. Where they started to realize how important their health, fitness, and that kind of stuff was to help combat things like illness or just any ailments that people suffer from on a daily basis. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally correct. I mean, crisis has a lot of opportunity that people don't realize, and there was a lot of negatives that happened during the pandemic. But also, too, I mean, people found themselves, found opportunities, found ways to really think about where their life is and take control of what it is that their ailments, their pain points, their challenges, their obstacles. I know tons of people who started working out and running and being more physically fit because they realize that, hey, I don't want to just sit around and just watch TV and just have weight gains. People starting new hobbies, getting back into creative things to push their minds. But yeah, the pandemic was hard, but it allowed us to actually innovate and reinvent because a lot of people don't need that push. They need that push to get them to the next level to figure out what they can do. And I'm really blessed to be able to do the same thing in my own business. I own a travel business too, and that was very difficult.
Yeah.
Um,
I can imagine, of course, like travel, one of the industries that was completely annihilated by it.
mhm.
Yeah, so I'm glad to see you, still coming out on
Well,
top
it,
of
it showed me, I know you have staff and I have staff too, but really, out of all the years of being a leader and being like the captain of my ship, this was the most important year for me because it really showed me who I'm really responsible for and who appreciated our business. And like you said, the resounding support that we had from our clients, from our community, that really was humbling because that's the only reason we would have stayed alive. And this platform was my way of giving it back to show other people that entrepreneurs are people who support your economy, who support your community, who is there in different facets. And it's more than just a business transaction. It's about a lifestyle and the things that we provide for other people. So I'm so um, thankful that you shared that because a lot of people don't understand that business is a relationship with you and your client.
Yeah. So we'll take that as a quick time to plug, guys. Kind of like you were saying, man. So, guys, anybody that's listening, support local, support small business. If there is a business out there that you truly care for and appreciate and visit often, keep doing it. Buy their, like I realized, like I try to, like certain gifts I'm buying from local stores now as opposed to your big box companies. Do that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I totally believe everything that you're saying, how important it is to shop local, to support small businesses. Um, for you, I mean, getting through this year, it's like a blessing in disguise. But for future entrepreneurs who are thinking about taking that next leap to really like investing into their own self, do you have any thoughts or advice for these type of people?
Learn. I mean, just keep learning, but that's life, right? And I can't remember what we were talking. We were talking about something earlier, and it made me think about continuing education. It's just realize that you never know enough. So with the gym, a lot of people, I literally probably get requests probably 2 or 3 times a week where people say, "Hey, man, I'll get a message or phone call or email. I'd love to sit down with you. I want to open up a gym and that kind of stuff. Could I pick your brain?" I used to do it. And unfortunately, because of time restraints, it would take like an hour out of my time because I tell everybody, this isn't something you're going to pick up in 15, 20, 30 minutes or an hour or 1 day or 2 days, right? So I unfortunately can't. So I do some consulting there. And that's how I am able to differentiate those that are serious, right? When I say, hey, it's like $250 for the first hour, they're like, what? And I'm like, well, if that's not even worth it, then I know you're not at the stage yet. You just need to go read more, take some business classes or whatever it might be. And I can't remember the original question there. I was sitting there talking, then I was like, all right, I went off on the tangent. I was like, all right, come back, and now it's not coming back.
No, just advice for people who want to be entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's fortunately because of the history. Like I said, I got the management experience, right?
Mhm.
So I was running a branch with employees and dealing with like a $60 million branch and budgets and that kind of stuff. I had that. And then the sales aspect of mortgage originating and banking, I had that portion. So then it was put it all together, and then I had the passion and the work ethic to do the gym. So my advice for you is, really think about the funding and the capital. That's always going to be key. Number one, I think a lot of people just assume, hey, I've got a great idea. This guy did it or that gal did it. I'm going to go to my bank and they're going to give me, 250 grand to open up my own gym. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't quite work that way. You've got to have some skin in the game. You've got to have a well-executed business plan. Mm-hmm. And you just got to go in with more than just a hope and a dream, obviously. I'm not going to say, a business can't start with that, but it obviously would be helpful if you have more than that.
No, that's awesome. I mean, these are true facts that people need to consider when they start a business. We get caught up with emotions thinking that we can do all these things, but sometimes people overcommit and they don't realize what they're getting themselves into. Before we get on to the next one, I just want to remind all our viewers, if you are watching this live, #live, and if you're watching this on the replay, to #replay. And if you're really a supporter of Alvin and his gym, Iron Asylum, go ahead and #Iron Asylum and let us know in the comments. I think you were going to say something, Alvin.
Oh, yes. And on the flip side of that, mm-hmm. I think some people also wait too long because of the fear.
Okay.
So if you feel you're ready, you want to roll the dice, there are certain people I'll say, then pull the trigger. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you say fear, that was going to be my next question. How important is it to understand failures are a lesson, not just something that reflects on who you are or who you are as a business? Like, failures are part of the process, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to look at it. I mean, like I said, fortunately, Iron Asylum has been phenomenal from day one. And that's because of the local community, our membership or members. You guys are phenomenal. So their constant support, but they're phenomenal because I think the proper personnel staff that we put in hand create what makes it phenomenal. Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, yeah, it's so important to build. People do business with people who they trust. And the fact that you and your family have been so situated in Virginia Beach, your community, I think that's a testament of a person, your whole family and what you are and how people trust in the brand and the culture that you've created in Iron Asylum. I know one of my best buddies, Alvin, he's watching right now. I mean, I guess he's a big supporter of both of us because he's constantly trying to connect us. And I love how all of this plays a part into all of our successes because we all are stepping stones to each other.
Yeah, no, He's been a phenomenal supporter since day one, but I'm looking at his hashtag and he even misspelled it though. So don't copy don't copy his, guys.
Yeah, I was like, I look at you missed the Y. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna take this off real quick. So awesome. I mean, yeah. So if anyone was interested in finding more about your gym, about you providing mortgages, could you let our viewers and listeners know what hashtags or websites that we can find you on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the gym, we're kind of a big deal, so you could just search the name. But now we are on obviously Facebook, Instagram, or our website, theironasylum.com. And as far as the mortgage business goes, yeah, visit my personal website. That's lapitanloans.com.
Awesome. And before you go, any last minute thoughts or things that you would like to advise or drop in for our viewers today?
Not too much. Like I said, man, it's just be good people. I don't know. Stay healthy, stay fit, do smart things.
Quick and easy. Always the best, man. So yeah, man, I appreciate everything you said, all the knowledge you spit out here. Congrats to you and your family for your son's graduation, and continued blessings for you and Amy. Hitting 16 years is an amazing feat these days. So, I've always heard about the things that you've been doing, and now I'm so happy to be able to highlight you and your successes on this platform. So thank you again, Alvin. Hope to see you on the future show.
Likewise. Appreciate it, man.
No worries. So again, Thank you so much, everyone, all the viewers who spend a few minutes of your day to being here. I really appreciate people like Alvin, who has really driven or created a road for himself, showing his determination and his motivation to succeed. He was able to capitalize on so many opportunities that became available, but only because he was willing and he was dedicated to his own development. I really thank everyone who was able to watch today. If you know anyone who has a story, a business, a story to share to all of our viewers, please reach out. We're always looking for the best and most insightful and inspirational stories so that we can share amongst our community. Um, if you if you are in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, or if you're close to Virginia Beach, reach out to me, Alvin, in any of our businesses. We are here to help support local businesses. So again, my name is Alvin Adriano, Filipino, an entrepreneur and an advocate for our community. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week. Till next time, guys.